Hello, my loves, and welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, I am Johanna Burkhardt. I am a shaman, a spiritual teacher, and a healer, and I am so happy to have you here. Today, we're going to be diving into the full moon in Aquarius on August 15th. It's a Thursday. And I'm really excited for this full moon because it's going to be the first full moon of in the new energy into that divine feminine. You know, we shifted in July with the galactic new year for the first time in like 13,000 years. So it is a really big shift. And as I said in previous energy updates, that it's going to take a little bit of time for us collectively to get our shit together. And so, as I've said, it'll probably be around November, December, we start really feeling that shift. And it's simply because we have so much resistance as humans, and it takes us a little while to get it together, just to be straight up and honest with you. But before I dive into that, I do want to talk for just a second. I've had some people wondering why I have not done an August energy update. And I had to take a little bit of a break from it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be back full time or not doing energy updates. That is really not my mission here, but I do read the energy well, and I read it differently. I'm not someone who has studied astrology, and I don't pretend that I have, but I am really in tune with the cosmic energy, and I can read the collective very well. But what happened is I felt myself shifting and doing what a lot of other readers do, and that is really diving into all the shitty things you're going to experience within the energy. And while there's nothing really wrong with that, I don't believe in right or wrong. What I do know is when we bring something into your awareness, if you're not experiencing it and you attach to what I say, you could really call it in. And I didn't like that. So I stopped. Because my purpose in doing energy readings is to help you focus on what it is that will help you through the energy that you experience. Because everybody will experience it a little bit differently. And I would rather bring awareness to what you can do to navigate. And yes, there are some things that we experience that are uncomfortable, but I would rather arm you with possibility than bring your awareness to all the negativity. So I may be returning to doing those, but I will be returning to the way that feels best for me, okay? So now with that being said, let's dive into this full moon energy, because it's going to be beautiful energy. There will be some discomfort, but I really want to talk about all aspects of this moon, because I am going to touch on some of the negative things that could be showing up for you. But I'm going to show you what's good about these things, because it really is good. And I'm actually already, I'm someone who experiences that energy well ahead of time, right? And we have a portal, if you will, that opens up 3 days before a full moon or a new moon. And really that's that where the energies are about to align. So there's this movement that happens. And so that actually opens up overnight and into the morning. That portal will begin to open. So I've already started to experience the full moon energy. And so I can testify to what I'm feeling, and the guidance that I'm being given is true, at least for those who will probably be listening to this anyway. So here's the thing. We have, as we've entered into this divine feminine energy, we have a lot of old masculine wounding and wounded healer type energy showing up. And it's a good thing that it's showing up, right? I talked about this in my Facebook group a little earlier today, but this energy that's coming up is really that last-ditch effort for that wounded masculine energy, that wounded healer energy to come into play and say that what you're doing, what you're up-leveling into, what you're desiring, where you're wanting to go, what you're wanting to do, is not going to happen, right? It's not for you. You're not good enough. You're not worthy. It's not going to work. All of those old programmings and old patternings and old wounded energies are going to be screaming for a lot of you, right? And this can show up when we speak of it, energy, of this energy showing up, it can show up in many things. So money, love, time, it's all energy, right? It's all on an equal playing ground. One is not stronger or better or more potent than the other, right? It's all energy and it's all an exchange, right? So whether it's money, time, or love, these are going to be all intertwined, okay? So for you, it may show up as in your finances. For another, it may show up in their relationships, right? So you have to be mindful of all the different ways of which this could play out for you. So with that being said, you need to look into the mirror of your relationships and into your finances and into your business or your career, whatever is happening. And you need to see what your ego and that wounded masculine energy, that wounded healer energy is trying to tell you. And that is going to be a big thing. Not only that, but what I have noticed and what I'm being told, but I've noticed personally, as when we take these big steps and shifts where we are going into that new timeline that already exists, right? So when we're stepping up onto that timeline and we're stepping into our power and into our light, a lot of times the energy shows up of envy, of jealousy, of people that are looking at you, right? And they're going to start poking at you or being rude to you or doing those things. Why is that? This energy right here that we'll be experiencing of that deep wounding. So that comes up for them and they begin to projectile it out, right? Because they're not in the awareness of their own insecurities, their own wounding that's rising. And listen, I always say this, but when that wounding comes up, when you begin to feel that overwhelm of that ick, doing your work, right? What I teach is sitting with it, sitting with that energy, asking, what is this trying to show me? What is it that I have to learn here? What is the old programming or old patterning that is showing up? What is it telling me? And what can I learn from this? Because we can always learn from it. But within that energy, we're also going to be experiencing heightened sensitivity, right? So we're going to have the telepathic connection is going to be really strong, communicating with our guidance, receiving huge downloads, and cosmic information is going to be coming in. However, in order to receive this beautiful guidance, if you will, this beautiful information that's here to support our journey and to help us, we need to be present. We need to be in our awareness. We need to be in observation mode of what's happening up here and what's happening in here and how to navigate that, okay? So the other energies that we're showing up is really, it's a lot of solar plexus, sacral type energy of where we are feeling our weakness, right? We're feeling that weakness with our system, but that's an illusion. That's not real, right? That is not real whatsoever. What is real is that you have the power within you, right? You have that power within you. And when you allow that power to rise and you say no, then what this full moon will do for you is you will be leaving behind those old programmings, those old patternings. You will be leaving behind those things and you will be moving towards the truth. You will be moving towards whatever goal, wherever you're supposed to be, whatever is awaiting for you in this journey, right? So when we think about this energy, what we're going to be walking away from with this full moon is a lot of old wounded shit, is a lot of wounded healer, masculine energy that is really hanging on. And let me tell you, it's hanging on by a small thread. So yes, you could spend the next 3 or 4 months going through that resistance and experiencing that over and over again, or you can allow this shift to be that potent possibility of just saying, by and letting that old wounding, that old programming and patterning, leaving it behind, right? So for some of you, you're also going to be leaving some relationships behind, right? Because people are going to show their true colors. You're going to be seeing it. Another thing that I have mentioned is it's really going to be hard for people to wear that mask anymore. So you're going to be experiencing a lot of people who are really just putting it all out there, right? And they are showing you their jealousy. They're showing you their insecurity. They're being rude and saying things because to them it makes them feel better. Why? Same thing I tell my children. When people are bullies, when people do these things, it's a toxicity. It's like food poisoning. When you put something toxic into your body wants to projectile it out. The same thing happens with energy. If you are allowing people you're taking it personally by when you allow it. When you allow people to trigger you and you take it personally and you take their projections to mean something about you, then you are taking in that toxicity that they are word vomiting onto you, right? So we need to be in awareness of what's happening in our relationships, what's happening with our finances, and we need to be honest with ourselves. The overall energy is really about betrayal, but it's not about betrayal of, and it can be a betrayal of another person, right? So heed that warning that there are going to be people out there that are going to be doing things that are not of the best intention as a way of sabotaging you. But the bigger message always within this is, how are you betraying yourself? Are you listening to the old programmings that are running and the old patterning, or are you listening to your heart and are you being still and you're listening to that guidance, right? I call it listening to my heart because my heart speaks to me. And when I listen to that soft inner voice, I always know that it's guiding me into what's in my highest and best. And when it comes to my mind, I enter into observation mode. That's something I teach, but your thoughts can tell you a lot. So listen to them. During the full moon, a lot of the energy that you're going to be experiencing, like I said, is walking away, right? So while you're going through this, you're going to be having these situations, these scenarios, these energies being present, coming up to the surface. You may feel it, and that's okay. You have to feel it. You have to see it in order to transform it. It is like a puppy or a child that is wanting that attention. It just wants to be seen and heard. So when we do that, we are walking away with our dignity. We are holding our head up, our chin up and our head up, and we are walking confidently into our future, knowing that we are leaving behind that old programming, that old programming is not coming with us, and that we are choosing, right? We are choosing to allow our power to rise and for us to know our truth, right? And when we do that, then what's happening is we're going to be receiving. So the people that are taking this action and allowing themselves to feel this, allowing themselves to be present, to be in their awareness and to see this, what's going to happen is as they pass over this full moon and they go through that release, that alchemization that's happened, then it's going to be a cornucopia of abundance that they'll be receiving in all ways. And again, remember that time, love, and energy are all of the same frequency. It's how you perceive them to be. So after this full moon, we'll be shifting into that rapid manifestation of all the things that you are desiring. But I also ask you to check on what you are actually desiring, right? Is it superficial? Is it so that you can feel powerful? What is the core that you are manifesting underneath that, right? So what is that? What is the real thing that you are wanting here? What is the truth that you are wanting? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to bring in some cards just to see what cards have to say, make it a little fun, make it a little different. All right. So please, let's see. What would you like us to know about what we are leaving behind in this full moon, please, for the collective for August 15th? Full moon in Aquarius. What energies will we be leaving behind with this full moon, please? On August 15th, 2019. Keep hearing over and over that we are going to be leaving behind the illusions, right? And all the masks that these illusions wear. All right. So the forgiveness card comes up, right? And what this is telling us with forgiveness is what we're going to be leaving behind, again, are all the old stories. All the old stories, right? And this is like, you see the mushrooms and the overgrowth and all of these things that are happening here, right? So I associate this and what I'm feeling is when we allow the old programmings to run, because this is the energy of what we are in right now, forgiveness. We are really having to take a hard look at the shame and the guilt and the projections and all the things that maybe we have done or have done to another, or that has been done to us. How are we holding on to these things? Because, and I'll put a link to this below. I have a free 24-page workbook that is all about a fresh perspective on forgiveness and really liberating yourself. So if you're interested in diving into that, you can. I'll put a link below. But what happens is what my team has told me over and over again is that when we are in the present moment, we are in our God-Goddess energy. And this is the only present space that we can control or direct, right? Is in the present moment. So in the present moment, if you are focused on things that you have done or that have been done to you that cannot be changed, all you're doing with that is sitting in that energy of guilt, of shame, of rejection, of abandonment, of whatever it is. When you're sitting in that energy, focused on something that cannot be changed, right? That no amount of anything will do. All you're doing is changing your future. You are now opening a door to experience more of the same because you are choosing not to let go. So with my take on forgiveness is really forgiveness is stripping the judgment of the event that already happened that cannot be changed, and accepting that it's happened and using it to serve us in the future, right? Okay. Whoops. Let me grab those cards. Okay. So what will we experience collectively during the full moon? What will we experience, please, collectively during the full moon? This is a great validation. Whoops. Okay. So we got two cards that are wanting to pop up at us. Let's take a look at those. Okay. So this is beautiful. Sensitivity. Remember how I talked about it? This is the swan. This is the swan. The swan is about transformation. It says trusting the psychic gifts, right? And again, with that sensitivity, we're having all these downloads come in during the full moon. We have all this cosmic energy that's coming forward. And when we're still and we're present and we listen to our heart and we listen to that energy that's coming through, right? Then we're listening to our heart space. And we're able to transform. The swan transforms, you know. We're able to transform that energy into something that's completely serving. The other card that wanted to come up was death, right? And this isn't an ego death because, let's be real, the ego never dies. But what this is it's death to the old programming. It's death to the wounded masculine. Because there's masculine energy, it can be serving. It has its place. but it's divine masculine. When we're in the wounded masculine, right? That is sabotaging. That is old programming. So we're going to be saying goodbye to that. And we're going to be transforming it into beautiful serving energy. Okay? So let's see what the gift, what we will be receiving after this full moon, right? After we do that transformation, what divine will we be gifted with? What will be that beautiful blessing? I love it when they fly out like this. This is so beautiful. Look, it was the queen. Yes, queen. Look at this. She's got her cup and her beautiful white pure gown sitting in her space. It says women, fertility, feminine power, sexuality, friendships, right? This is you owning your God goddess energy, and fertility is the birth of new energy, of creation, of abundance. The other energy, the other thing that came out with that card was perception. So we have a new shift in perception. We have a new path. You see this beautiful path? We have a new path that's opened up. Right? So we have detached from the old energy. We are in a space of neutrality and celebration of our beautiful energy. We're walking on a new path and we're owning it. We're owning it. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, you guys, so I hope that you will enjoy this full moon, this energy. Make sure you take the time. An exercise that I gave today that I'll share with you that will be really good for this is any day that during this full moon portal and full moon that's happening, when you're feeling that overwhelm, when you're feeling that, when you're hearing or seeing the old programming running, I want you to stop and write a list of every single fear, every single trigger that is coming up for you, no matter how small or how big. Write them all out. And then I want you to read them aloud to yourself and listen. Listen to what is being shown to you. Because this energy is super, super serving for you to be in the awareness of what's coming up for you and what you have an ability to transform within you. And then I want you to write all the possibilities and opportunities that could transform those fears. Because now you're giving yourself a choice. Do I want to play in the energy of my fears, or do I want to play in the energy of possibility and opportunity? So try that, and then when you're done, burn it over the full moon, set yourself free. And if you would like to book a full reading with me or learn how to work with me, please visit mysoulevolution.com. I will link to it below. And happy full moon. Bye.